All right, ready to dive in. Today we're tackling middle childhood cognitive development.
Oh, it's a fascinating area.
Yeah, those amazing shifts in thinking kids go through between, say, 6 and 11 years old.
Right, right. When
Mm.
they really start, grappling with the world around them differently.
Exactly. I bet a lot of our listeners can relate, whether they're parents, teachers, or just, fascinated by those little brains.
Definitely.
So, to get a real grasp on this, we've got some heavy hitters to guide us. Piaget,
Vygotsky.
even a peek into the neuroscience behind it all.
It's amazing what we can see happening in the brain now.
I know, it's mind-blowing. So, ready to unpack how those mini minds work?
Let's do it.
Okay, Piaget. He coined this term, the concrete operational stage for this age group. Can you give us the rundown?
Sure. Piaget observed that kids in this stage, they start thinking more logically but concretely.
Concretely,
They
meaning?
need hands-on stuff,
Yeah.
to really get a concept.
So not just memorizing facts, but actually manipulating, experimenting.
Exactly. It's like those mental building blocks. They can finally put them together, but they got to, touch them, move them around.
That makes total sense. Like, my nephew, around 7, he was obsessed with sorting his Legos, by color and size.
Perfect example. That's classic classification and seriation developing right there.
So they're grouping things by features and then putting them in order.
Yeah, their thinking's getting way more systematic. Like all the red Legos, then from smallest to biggest.
Wow, their mental filing cabinets are getting a serious upgrade.
Definitely.
But hold on, Piaget wasn't the only one with big ideas about how kids learn, right? What about Vygotsky? He was all about the social side of things.
Oh, absolutely. For Vygotsky, learning, it's not a solo act. It's deeply tied to who's around the kid, their culture, the whole context.
Okay, so explain that zone of proximal development thing. I always get a little tripped up on that.
It's that sweet spot, right?
Yeah.
Where a kid can almost do something new, but needs a little boost from someone more experienced.
Okay, like when I was teaching my niece to ride a bike. She was almost there, but needed me running alongside, holding on for a bit.
Exactly. You were that bridge, helping her reach what she couldn't quite do on her own yet.
And Vygotsky said, this kind of back and forth is how kids master, well, almost anything.
From tying their shoes to, those tough math problems later on.
It's really a dance between learner and guide, isn't it? Not just absorbing info, but actively constructing knowledge together.
I love that way of putting it. And Vygotsky was big on culture shaping that journey too. The tools we use, the language, even the stories we tell, it all molds how we think.
That makes me wonder, do different cultures learn differently then? Like, are some more collaborative, others more individual focused?
Oh, totally. There's tons of research on those cross-cultural variations. We're just scratching the surface here.
Fascinating. Okay, so we've got Piaget, the stages, and Vygotsky, the social context. But what's actually happening inside those little brains as they learn?
Now we're getting to the really cool stuff. We can look at it through an information processing lens, kind of like comparing the brain to a computer, in a way.
Okay, I get that. But our brains are way more complex than any computer, right?
Oh, for sure. But the analogy helps. Like, the brain takes in info, processes it, stores it, pulls it back out when needed.
Right, right. So what makes learning so much smoother during this middle childhood stage? Is there something specific going on?
One biggie is automatization. Think about learning to tie your shoes. At first, it's all concentration, effort.
Yeah, so much focus.
But then, with practice, boom, it's automatic. You don't even think about it.
It's like mental shortcuts our brains make to free up space for, well, harder stuff.
Exactly. And here's where culture sneaks back in. Research by Robert Siegler showed that even math understanding, it's not just a sudden aha.
Oh, really? I always pictured it that way.
It's gradual. Kids try different strategies, get better at applying them, and culture shapes how math's taught, the language used, even how much it's valued.
So cultural influence on top of brain development. Amazing. All right, we've covered processing info, but what about knowledge itself? And memory? Where do those fit in?
Think of knowledge as those building blocks for learning. The more a child knows, the easier it is to learn new things, make connections.
Makes sense. Like those dino-obsessed kids, they just gobble up every dino fact you throw at them.
Exactly. Passion fuels the learning engine. But it's not just storage, right? Kids need to manage all that knowledge, use it well.
That's where control processes come in, right? Like the brain's little managers, keeping things tidy.
Perfect analogy. They help kids plan, focus, resist distractions. We call this executive function. The brain's CEO making those tough decisions.
Like when a kid chooses to finish homework before playing video games, that's executive function in action.
You got it. And like any skill, it develops gradually. We can help by giving kids chances to plan, solve problems, practice that self-control.
Okay, so supporting those skills is key. Now, we can't talk cognition without talking language, right? This is when kids start with jokes, metaphors, even puns.
It's mind-blowing, the language leaps they make. And one of the coolest things is pragmatics developing.
Pragmatics.
It's using language for more than just conveying info. It's navigating social stuff, like talking to a friend differently than the teacher.
Right, right. Like knowing when to be formal, when to be casual, adapting to the situation.
Exactly. We call that code switching, and it shows how socially aware they're becoming.
Amazing. Little linguistic chameleons. Speaking of adapting, let's tackle bilingualism. Many kids in the U.S. grow up with more than one language.
And there are so many myths surrounding that.
Yeah, like it'll confuse them or something.
Right. But research actually shows the opposite. Early bilingualism, it can be incredibly beneficial.
Okay, so no harm done. What are those benefits, though? I'm really curious about this.
Studies show bilingual kids often outperform their monolingual peers on tasks needing, like that executive function we talked about.
Oh, interesting.
They're better at switching between things, focusing, ignoring distractions. Like their brains get this workout from juggling two languages.
Wow, so it's actually an advantage, not a hindrance at all.
Absolutely. And then there's the question of the best ways to learn a language.
Right. Are some approaches better than others?
Research points to immersion programs, being surrounded by the language a lot, as really effective. Bilingual schooling is great too, where instruction's in both languages.
I see. So making language a part of the everyday environment.
Yeah, and of course what happens at home matters hugely. Books, songs, conversations, it all contributes.
So creating a rich language environment, no matter the language. This makes me think about how schools need to support this, especially in diverse communities.
Absolutely. Creating inclusive environments for bilingual learners is crucial.
Okay, so we've talked individual learning, but now let's zoom out, think about education in general. All those different approaches, public schools, private charter schools.
It's a huge landscape. And we have to remember, culture shapes what's considered good education. It varies all over the world.
Right, right. And even within one school system, you have the hidden curriculum, those unspoken values that influence things.
Exactly. Like, think about teacher expectations. A teacher who believes in a kid can really impact their performance. It's powerful.
Wow. It's like a self-fulfilling prophecy almost.
Right. And even classroom layout, desks in rows versus groups, that subtly shapes how kids interact. It's fascinating.
I never thought about it that way, all these hidden messages in the environment. Okay, then we have international testing like TIMSS and PISA.
They try to compare countries, which is tricky, making test questions equally challenging for kids from completely different cultures. Tough.
So these tests, they're just one piece of the puzzle, not the whole picture.
Exactly. And of course, we can't ignore the debates about education right here in the U.S. Funding, charter schools, the role of parents. It's complex. Absolutely.
Yeah.
But through it all, one thing's clear. Middle childhood is a time of incredible cognitive growth.
It is. It's like watching those little mini scientists we talked about really taking off.
I love that image. Their language blossoms, their reasoning gets sharper, they develop all these learning strategies.
Incredible. And that's just the cognitive side. There's so much more to unpack.
Oh yeah, we haven't even touched on the social and emotional development happening during these years. That's a whole other fascinating layer.
Definitely. Which is exactly what we'll be exploring in the next part of our deep dive. Get ready for even more insights, folks, because this journey's just getting started.
I can't wait. It's going to be good. And it's not just about how kids learn, inside their own heads. We got to think about how they're being taught, too.
Ah, you're right. The whole context of education, like our methods, the values we emphasize, it all reflects what we think is the best way for kids to learn.
Exactly. If we're stuck on rote memorization, we'll design classrooms around drills, tests, that kind of thing.
Right. But if we see it as active, social, like we've been talking about.
Then we create environments for exploration, collaboration, critical thinking, all that good stuff.
Yeah, those aha moments when a kid gets it, you can't beat those.
And that's where developmentally appropriate practice comes in. Matching how we teach to what kids can actually handle at different ages.
So what works for a 6-year-old might not work for a 10-year-old.
Totally. Like trying to teach my 6-year-old niece chess. Total flop. She wasn't ready for that abstract thinking. But given pretend play, she's off to the races.
I can see that. Younger kids, they need that hands-on stuff.
Exactly. As they get older, they can handle more abstract concepts, independent projects, all that. But it's not just about academics, right? Developmentally appropriate means recognizing the importance of, like, social emotional stuff, play, physical activity. It's all part of the package.
So nurturing the whole child, not just their brains, sounds like teachers have a big job in creating these environments.
They really do. A teacher who's tuned into those individual needs, creates a supportive space, they can make such a difference. Like gardeners, helping each little seedling grow.
I love that analogy. And just like gardeners, teachers need to stay adaptable, right? I mean, the world's changing so fast, the skills kids need are evolving too.
Absolutely. We got to prepare kids, not just for the now, but for what's coming. It's not just about those basic facts anymore. It's,
What, those 21st century skills everyone's talking about?
yes, critical thinking, problem solving, being creative, collaborating. These are the skills that'll let them thrive in a world that's, well, complex and always changing.
It's like giving them a toolkit for life, right?
Yeah.
Not just filling their heads with information.
Exactly. And that brings us back to fostering a love of learning early on, nurturing that curiosity, helping them see the world as full of possibilities.
Absolutely.
It's not just what we teach, but how we teach it. Sparking that sense of wonder, making them lifelong learners. Now, we've focused on the cognitive stuff, but what about the social and emotional development happening in middle childhood? That's huge, right?
Oh, definitely. Their world explodes socially. More time with peers. Friendships get intense, navigating those tricky social hierarchies. It's like their social compass is being calibrated or something.
Perfect way to put it. They're learning to cooperate, compete, handle conflict, all of it. Plus, figuring out their own identity, where they fit in with their peers.
And I bet those social emotional skills we talked about earlier play a big role here, right?
Huge. Understanding your own emotions, having empathy for others, building healthy relationships. That's the foundation. It's not just about being book smart. It's being kind, compassionate, resilient. Those qualities matter just as much as IQ.
It's about navigating life, not just academics. So what about family influence versus peer influence? Both seem pretty powerful during this stage.
Oh, peer relationships become so central during middle childhood. They learn tons from each other, good and bad.
So it's more than just like playground games. It's really shaping who they are.
Exactly. They're picking up social norms, values, expectations, testing out different behaviors, figuring out group dynamics, like a social laboratory almost.
It's fascinating to watch, but I bet it's nerve-wracking for parents too, like trying to guide them without, controlling them.
Oh, absolutely. And while peer influence can be great, there's the negative side too. Peer pressure, bullying, exclusion, all that can really impact a kid's self-esteem.
Makes you realize how important it is for parents and teachers to be aware of what's going on socially, right? Provide support when it's needed.
Couldn't agree more. Okay, so we've talked cognition, social development, but what about emotions? How are those changing during middle childhood?
Yeah, we often think of them as just these bundles of energy, but there's a lot going on emotionally too, right?
Tons. It's a time of big emotional growth. They're more aware of their own feelings and those of others, developing better ways to cope with stress and tough situations.
So less tantrums, more, emotional intelligence.
That's it. Those executive function skills, the planning, self-control, they help with emotional regulation too. And remember, everything's linked. A kid struggling emotionally might have trouble focusing in school, which affects their grades, their social life, the whole thing.
It's all connected, one big, messy, wonderful system.
Exactly. Speaking of messy, we got to talk media and technology. Kids are growing up digital, and that's shaping them in ways we're still figuring out.
Yeah, it's inescapable. Every kid's got a smartphone. They're constantly online. Is all the screen time bad, though?
It's not that black and white. Technology, like any tool, can be used well or poorly. We've got amazing educational resources online, games that boost creativity, all sorts of good stuff.
I see that, but then there's the distractions, the social comparisons, the potential for addiction. It's scary.
It is. So we got to find that balance, right? Set limits, prioritize face-to-face interaction, encourage things like outdoor play, being creative offline.
Right, so it's not about demonizing tech. It's about using it mindfully.
Exactly. Teaching them digital citizenship, how to evaluate information, be kind online, all of that. Now, switching gears to something else vital for well-being. Sleep. We know adults need it, but for kids, it's even more crucial.
It is, but getting them to bed on time, it's a nightly struggle in my house. So why is sleep so important for those growing brains and bodies?
Sleep isn't just about physical rest. It's when the brain consolidates memories, clears out waste, prepares for the next day. It's like a nightly reset button for the whole system.
So it's not just about preventing meltdowns, though I'm sure parents appreciate that side effect.
No, it's much bigger. A well-rested kid focuses better, learns easier, handles emotions better. It sets them up for success in everything.
So we got to make sleep a priority. What can parents do besides, the usual bedtime battles?
Consistency is huge. Having a regular sleep schedule, even on weekends, helps regulate their internal clock.
So no late night movies or sleeping in till noon, no matter how tempting. What else helps?
A relaxing bedtime routine signals to the body that it's time to wind down. A warm bath, reading together, quiet time, dimming the lights, all that good stuff.
Sounds cozy. And of course the big one, screen time before bed.
Yeah, best to avoid it. That blue light messes with their melatonin production, makes it harder to fall asleep.
So phones and tablets away an hour before bed, minimum. What about physical activity? Does that affect sleep?
Absolutely. Kids who get enough exercise tend to sleep better. It just makes sense, right? Tires them out, helps them fall asleep faster and sleep more soundly.
So let them run wild during the day and they'll crash better at night. It's all about building those healthy habits, both physical and mental.
Exactly. It's a holistic approach. And speaking of holistic, we've covered so much ground in this deep dive, from Piaget and Vygotsky to technology and sleep. It's amazing how much is happening during middle childhood.
I know, it's mind-boggling. But through it all, I keep coming back to that idea that every child is unique.
And every child has that potential to thrive given the right support.
That's a powerful message to hold on to. So let's talk about how to create those supportive environments. What are the key ingredients? It really is all about, recognizing that potential and creating spaces where kids can, flourish.
Exactly. It's not just about academics, right? It's
Right.
the whole child. Their emotional well-being, their social skills, their sense of self.
Right, it's all interconnected. And that makes me think about, some of the tougher aspects of this stage. Not every child has a smooth ride, do they?
That's true. Middle childhood, it can be idyllic for some, but for others, there are real challenges.
Yeah, some kids face poverty, trauma,
Yeah,
situations that can have a lasting impact.
absolutely. Those experiences, they can create roadblocks to development, affect their well-being for years to come.
So what can we do? How do we support those children, make sure they get the help they need?
It starts with awareness, I think, recognizing that these issues exist, that they affect real kids in our communities.
Yeah, breaking down those stigmas around mental health, poverty, all of that, creating spaces where kids feel safe to speak up.
Exactly. And then connecting them with resources, the right
Yeah.
support systems, whether it's counseling, after-school programs, mentoring, whatever they need.
It really takes a village, doesn't it? Parents, educators, the whole community.
It does. And we need to advocate for systemic change, too, addressing those root causes of poverty, trauma, those bigger societal issues.
So it's about creating a safety net, but also working to prevent kids from falling through the cracks in the first place.
Exactly. It's a two-pronged approach, both immediate support and long-term solutions. And speaking of things that nurture well-being, we can't forget the power of nature.
Oh, nature. I'm a huge believer in that. Getting kids outside, letting them explore. It just seems to, reset everything.
It really does. Nature, it's not just a pretty backdrop,
Yeah.
It's this incredible environment for learning, growth, on so many levels.
So break down those benefits for us. What's happening when kids are out in nature, interacting with the world around them?
Well, physically, they're developing coordination, balance, those gross motor skills.
Yeah.
But it goes way beyond that. Nature sparks curiosity, imagination, problem solving, all that good stuff.
So it's not just about physical activity. It's about, engaging their senses, their minds, their spirits even.
Exactly. And research backs this up. Spending time in nature reduces stress, improves mood, boosts attention, even strengthens the immune system. It's like a natural remedy for so many things.
It's amazing. I think we underestimate the power of just being in nature sometimes. Okay, shifting gears a bit, we got to talk about technology, right? It's everywhere, and kids are growing up immersed in it.
It's unavoidable these days. And honestly, technology isn't inherently good or bad. It's all about how we use it, how we teach kids to use it.
That makes sense. I mean, there are amazing educational apps, creative tools, ways to connect with people all over the world. But then there's the flip side.
Right, the constant distractions, the social media pressure, the potential for addiction, all of that. So we got to find ways to make technology work for kids, not against them.
It feels like a constant balancing act, doesn't it?
It does.
Yeah.
But I think the key is setting boundaries, prioritizing face-to-face interactions, encouraging other activities, like we talked about with nature.
Right, making sure screen time doesn't dominate their lives. And teaching them those digital literacy skills, how to be responsible, ethical, online citizens.
Absolutely. It's about empowering them to use technology thoughtfully, not just be passive consumers.
And on that note, I think it's time to wrap up this deep dive. We've covered so much ground, from those early cognitive theories to the complexities of navigating a digital world.
It's been a whirlwind.
Mhm.
But I hope our listeners are walking away with a deeper understanding of this amazing stage of development.
Me too. It's been such a rich conversation, and it reminds me of how much we're still learning about those incredible middle childhood years.
It's an ongoing journey, isn't it? For both the kids and the adults in their lives.
So true. And I think the biggest takeaway for me is that sense of possibility. Middle childhood, it's a time of such incredible growth, exploration, and, well, just pure wonder.
Absolutely. And we, as parents, educators, anyone who interacts with kids, we have a responsibility to nurture that wonder, to create spaces where they can thrive.
To meet them where they are, to celebrate their individuality, and to empower them to become the amazing humans they're meant to be. Well said. On that note, we'd like to thank all of our listeners for joining us on this deep dive into middle childhood development. We hope you found it insightful, inspiring, and maybe even a little bit thought-provoking. And remember, the journey of learning and growing, it never really ends. So stay curious, stay engaged, and keep those aha moments coming.